Welcome, dear listener. Tonight we'll drift together into the cosmic dance of a distant visitor, a wanderer from the far reaches of space called Three-Eye Atlas. As your breath begins to slow and deepen, imagine yourself floating gently above our blue marble of a planet, watching the endless expanse of night sky unfold its quiet secrets around you. You don't need to follow every word tonight. Simply let this story carry you into rest, like a gentle current guiding a leaf downstream. Tonight's journey will take us through the realm of celestial mechanics, through the what-ifs and possibilities that dance in the space between science and dreams. Picture yourself now settling deeper into comfort, your body becoming as weightless as stardust itself. We're going to explore together what would happen if this cosmic visitor decided to make Earth its destination. But there's no need for worry here, no cause for alarm. This is a story told in whispers, a bedtime tale written in the language of physics and poetry. Before we begin this gentle drift through space and time, if you find peace in these cosmic lullabies, I invite you to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And in the comments below, let me know which corner of our beautiful world you're listening from tonight and what time it is in your part of the universe. Are you watching the sunset or perhaps greeting the morning stars? Now let your breathing find its natural rhythm, like the slow pulse of distant galaxies. And let us begin our peaceful journey into the realm of celestial possibilities. In the vast cathedral of space, there travels a visitor unlike any we've known before. Its name is Three-Eye Atlas, a designation that sounds almost like a whispered incantation, a cosmic spell that speaks of origins beyond our solar system's embrace. Feel yourself floating now in the gentle darkness between stars, watching this celestial wanderer as it moves through space like a dream made manifest. This visitor is what we call an interstellar comet, a traveler that has journeyed from distances so vast that they stretch beyond the comfortable boundaries of our sun's influence. Imagine, if you will, the profound silence of its journey, moving through the cosmic deep for perhaps millions of years, carrying within its icy heart the secrets of alien star systems. As you rest here in this imagined space between worlds, picture Three-Eye Atlas as a gentle giant, roughly the size of a small mountain, perhaps a kilometer or two across. Its surface tells stories of unimaginable cold and darkness, of a journey through the void where temperatures hover near absolute zero, where the only light comes from distant stars that appear as mere pinpricks in an ocean of black velvet. The comet's body is a mixture of ice and rock, dust and organic compounds, all bound together like an ancient library frozen in time. As it travels, it carries with it the chemical signature of its birthplace, a stellar neighborhood we may never see, around a star whose light has perhaps never touched our Earth. Let this thought wash over you like a gentle wave, the profound mystery of matter that has traveled between the stars to visit our cosmic home. But what makes Three-Eye Atlas truly special, what sets it apart from the comets that were born in our own solar system, is its trajectory. Unlike our familiar visitors that orbit our sun in predictable ellipses, this wanderer follows a hyperbolic path, a cosmic curve that speaks of its alien origins. It's moving too fast to be captured by our sun's gravitational embrace, destined to pass through our neighborhood once and then continue on into the endless night. Feel the rhythm of your breath now, matching the slow, steady progression of this cosmic visitor as it approaches our inner solar system. There's something deeply soothing about imagining this ancient dance of gravity and motion, this celestial ballet that has been choreographed by the fundamental forces of the universe itself. As Three-Eye Atlas draws closer to our sun, it begins to change, to wake up from its long cosmic slumber. The solar wind, that constant stream of charged particles flowing outward from our star, begins to interact with the comet's surface. Ice starts to sublimate, turning directly from solid to gas without melting, creating the beginnings of what will become a magnificent tail stretching millions of kilometers behind the comet's nucleus. Picture this transformation as gentle as a flower blooming in slow motion, as peaceful as morning mist rising from a quiet lake. The comet is coming alive, breathing out vapors of water, carbon dioxide, and other substances that have been locked in ice for eons. These molecules catch the sunlight and begin to glow with a soft, ethereal light, creating a halo around the comet's core that astronomers call a coma. Let your mind drift now with these particles as they stream away from the comet, pushed by the solar wind into that characteristic tail that always points away from the sun. This is the cosmic equivalent of a river flowing, of wind through trees, of all the natural rhythms that help lull us into peaceful sleep. The comet's approach fills astronomers with wonder, for it represents a visitor from the deep universe, a messenger carrying information about the conditions in interstellar space, about the processes that occur in the cold depths between star systems. But for us tonight, it represents something even more beautiful, a reminder of the vast, gentle dance of matter and energy that surrounds us always, even as we rest. As you continue to float in this peaceful space between Earth and the approaching wanderer, let us explore together the soft science behind what would happen if 3I Atlas were to change course, to turn its ancient trajectory toward our blue world. But we'll explore this gently, like turning pages in a book of cosmic poetry, each revelation as soothing as rainfall on a quiet night. The first thing to understand about our celestial visitor is its size and composition. At approximately 2 kilometers across, 3I Atlas is substantial but not enormous in cosmic terms. Picture it as a mountain floating through space, its surface a mixture of the hardest ice and the oldest rock, all held together by the gentle but persistent force of its own gravity. This is not a destroyer from science fiction, but rather a cosmic snowball, ancient and serene. If we imagine this visitor changing its path to intersect with Earth's orbit, we must first understand the delicate dance of orbital mechanics. Feel the rhythm of this cosmic ballet in your breathing. In, out, like the elliptical paths that planets trace around their stars. Our Earth moves through space at approximately 30 kilometers per second, a speed that sounds dramatic but feels peaceful when imagined as part of the grand cosmic flow. 3I Atlas, being an interstellar visitor, moves even faster, perhaps 40 or 50 kilometers per second, relative to our Sun. But in the vast scales of space, these speeds feel gentle, like the steady progression of seasons, or the slow wheeling of constellations across the night sky. There's time in this cosmic dance, vast amounts of time for forces to act and interact. As our imaginary scenario unfolds, picture the comet beginning its approach toward Earth from the outer reaches of our solar system. At this distance, months or even years would pass as it slowly grew brighter in our telescopes, as astronomers around the world tracked its progress with growing fascination. There would be time to observe, to calculate, to understand the visitor's intentions. The comet would first become visible to the naked eye when it was still millions of kilometers away, appearing as a fuzzy star in the constellation where it happened to be traveling. Night after night, careful observers would notice its movement against the background stars, its gradual brightening as it drew closer to the sun and began to develop its magnificent tail. Let your mind rest in this image of patient astronomical observation of humans around the world looking up at the same sky, tracking the same cosmic visitor night after night. There's something deeply peaceful about this shared experience of wonder, this collective gaze turned toward the heavens in curiosity rather than fear. As the comet approached the inner solar system, it would undergo the same transformation we described before, but now with Earth as its destination rather than a mere spectator. The solar wind would awaken it from its interstellar slumber, causing ice to sublimate and creating that ethereal coma and tail. But instead of passing by our planet at a safe distance, in our gentle thought experiment, it would be on a collision course. Now let us imagine the gravitational dance that would begin as the comet entered Earth's sphere of influence. Gravity, that most gentle and persistent of forces, would begin to pull the two objects together. But gravity works both ways, and Earth would also feel the comet's pull, though so slightly that it would be barely measurable. It's like two dancers slowly approaching each other across a vast ballroom, each influencing the other's movement in ways both subtle and profound. The mathematics of this approach are beautiful in their complexity, involving what physicists call the three-body problem, the interaction between the comet, the Earth, and the Moon, all influenced by the distant but persistent pull of the Sun. These calculations require computers to solve, but their essence can be felt as simply as the rhythm of waves on a shore, the back and forth of tides, the gentle perturbations that characterize all gravitational interactions. As the comet drew closer, Earth's atmosphere would begin to interact with the outer edges of the comet's coma, that tenuous envelope of gas and dust surrounding the nucleus. This interaction would be gentle at first, like morning mist touching a mountain peak, causing the faintest of auroral displays in our upper atmosphere as charged particles from the comet's envelope interacted with our planet's magnetic field. Imagine these early auroras as nature's way of announcing the visitor's approach. Curtains of soft green and blue light dancing in the polar skies, visible to those who know where and when to look. Indigenous peoples around the world have long traditions of reading meaning in the aurora, seeing in their dance the movement of spirits, the play of cosmic forces too vast and subtle for everyday perception. The gravitational interaction would also affect the comet itself, potentially causing it to break apart if it approached too closely before impact. Comets are loose collections of ice and rock held together by relatively weak gravitational forces. The differential pull of Earth's gravity, stronger on the side closer to Earth, weaker on the far side, could stretch and deform the comet, perhaps causing it to fragment into multiple pieces like a gentle dissolution rather than a violent breakup. Feel the peace in this cosmic choreography, the way that even in our imagined collision scenario, the universe operates according to laws that are fundamentally mathematical, predictable, and in their own way, beautiful. Let your consciousness drift now like a particle of cosmic dust, floating between the Earth and our approaching visitor. In this gentle space between worlds, we can observe the intricate dance that would unfold as 3i Atlas drew closer to our planet. Feel your breathing slow and deepen as we explore these cosmic interactions, each force and counterforce as natural and rhythmic as the tide. The approach would be measured not in hours or days, but in months, giving us time to observe and understand every subtle change in this celestial ballet. Imagine astronomers around the world, their telescopes turned toward the same patch of sky night after night, watching as the comet grew from a faint smudge to a brilliant apparition with a tail stretching across degrees of sky. As the comet entered the space between Earth and Moon, approximately 400,000 kilometers away, fascinating things would begin to happen. Our Moon's gravity would add its own gentle influence to the cosmic dance, creating what mathematicians call a chaotic system. Not chaotic in the sense of random violence, but chaotic in the beautiful mathematical sense of sensitivity to initial conditions, where tiny changes can lead to dramatically different outcomes. Picture the Moon in its orbit, that familiar companion that has watched over Earth for billions of years, now playing an unexpected role as gravitational dance partner to our interstellar visitor. The three bodies, Earth, Moon, and Comet, would influence each other in ways both subtle and profound, their gravitational fields interweaving like streams of water flowing together. At this distance, the comet would appear to the naked eye as one of the brightest objects in the night sky, perhaps rivaling Venus in its brilliance. Its tail, now fully developed under the sun's influence, might stretch across 30 or 40 degrees of sky, creating a celestial banner visible even from light-polluted cities. Children would point at it in wonder, and adults would pause in their evening walks to gaze upward at this visitor from the deep cosmos. The tail itself would be a thing of ethereal beauty, composed of two distinct parts that would become visible through telescopes. The dust tail, made of tiny particles pushed away from the comet by the pressure of sunlight itself, would curve gently behind the comet's path like a cosmic contrail. The ion tail, composed of electrically charged gas molecules, would stream directly away from the sun in a straighter line, glowing with its own faint light as it fluoresced under solar radiation. As you rest in this imagined scene, picture the particles in these tails as they spread through space, some of them eventually reaching Earth's upper atmosphere days or weeks before the comet itself. These would create meteor showers of unusual intensity and beauty, with shooting stars appearing to radiate from the constellation where the comet was located. Night watchers would see dozens or perhaps hundreds of meteors per hour, each one a microscopic piece of our visitor burning up harmlessly in the atmosphere. Let your mind drift with these cosmic messengers as they streak through the sky, each one telling a story of interstellar travel, of the vast distances between stars, of the gentle processes that created and launched our visitor on its journey eons ago. There's something deeply soothing about imagining these shooting stars, these brief flashes of light that connect us momentarily to the cosmos beyond our world. The comet's approach would also begin to affect Earth in subtle ways that would be detectable by sensitive instruments. The planet's rotation might slow by microscopic amounts as the comet's gravity exerted its influence. Our magnetic field would begin to interact more strongly with the comet's own magnetic environment, creating complex patterns of electromagnetic disturbance that would paint new colors in the aurora and perhaps affect radio communications in gentle, intermittent ways. Ocean tides, governed primarily by the Moon's gravity, might show slight variations as the comet's mass added its own influence to the gravitational mix. These changes would be tiny, perhaps measurable only by the most sensitive tide gauges, but they would represent yet another way that our visitor was beginning to make its presence felt on Earth. Birds and other animals sensitive to magnetic fields might exhibit unusual behaviors, not out of fear or distress, but simply responding to the subtle changes in the electromagnetic environment. Migrating species might adjust their routes slightly, following magnetic field lines that had been gently perturbed by the comet's approach. Even this represents a kind of cosmic conversation, a dialogue between worlds conducted in the language of fundamental forces. As you sink deeper into rest, your consciousness floating like a mote of dust in the vast spaces between galaxies, let us expand our perspective to encompass the truly immense scales on which such cosmic events occur. You don't need to stay fully awake for this part of our journey. Let the words flow over you like gentle waves, carrying you deeper into peace while painting images of the profound timescales that govern celestial mechanics. Our story of Three-Eye Atlas and its imagined encounter with Earth takes place against a backdrop of time so vast that human language struggles to contain it. The comet itself has been traveling through interstellar space for millions of years, perhaps tens of millions, carrying within its frozen heart the chemical signature of its birth around an alien star. Feel the weight of that journey, the patient persistence of matter moving through the void at speeds that seem fast to us, but are actually quite leisurely on cosmic scales. During its long journey between stars, our cosmic visitor would have experienced conditions of cold and isolation that challenge our imagination. The temperature in interstellar space hovers just a few degrees above absolute zero, cold enough that even hydrogen, so the most abundant element in the universe, freezes into solid crystals. In this environment, chemical reactions essentially stop, and time becomes a kind of cosmic amber, preserving the comet's composition unchanged across geological epochs. Picture the comet during these long ages of travel, a frozen time capsule drifting through regions of space where the nearest star is just another bright point of light among thousands. It would have passed through clouds of interstellar dust and gas, perhaps collecting microscopic particles on its surface like a cosmic snowball gathering material as it rolls through the galaxy's sparse medium. The gravitational influences that eventually deflected our visitor toward our solar system operated on similarly vast timescales. Perhaps the comet passed near enough to a red dwarf star to have its trajectory slightly altered, or maybe it encountered the gravitational wake of a stellar nursery where new stars were forming from collapsing gas clouds. These influences work slowly and gently, like the way rivers carve canyons or continents drift across Earth's surface. Our solar system itself, which seems so permanent and stable from our human perspective, is actually in constant motion through the galaxy. Every 225 million years, our Sun completes one orbit around the galactic center, carrying Earth and all the planets with it on a cosmic journey that has repeated about 20 times since complex life began evolving on our world. During our imagined encounter with 3I Atlas, we would be meeting a visitor from a completely different part of the galaxy's vast spiral structure. Think of the patient dance of stellar evolution that created the heavy elements in both Earth and our cosmic visitor. The carbon in your body, the oxygen you breathe, the iron in your blood, all were forged in the nuclear furnaces of ancient stars that lived and died billions of years ago. The comet carries similar elements, but processed by different stellar generations around different stars, creating a kind of cosmic chemistry that represents parallel but separate evolutionary paths. The impact event we've been imagining would, from this deep time perspective, be merely one of countless such encounters that have shaped Earth throughout its 4.5 billion year history. Our planet's surface bears the subtle scars of millions of impacts, most now erased by erosion and plate tectonics, but still detectable by those who know how to read the geological record. Let your mind drift through this deep history, imagining the slow succession of cosmic encounters that have contributed to making Earth the world we know. Early in our planet's history, during a period called the Late Heavy Bombardment, impacts were much more frequent and energetic. These ancient collisions delivered much of the water that fills our oceans today, and possibly some of the organic compounds that later gave rise to life itself. The moon that lights our night sky was likely formed from just such a cosmic collision, a Mars-sized object impacting the early Earth with such force that it blasted material into orbit, which then coalesced into our familiar lunar companion. This ancient catastrophe, far more energetic than our imagined encounter with 3I Atlas, ultimately gave Earth its 24-hour day and the stable climate that made complex life possible. From this perspective, our hypothetical collision becomes part of a much larger story about how matter moves through the universe, how elements forged in stellar cores eventually find their way into planets, oceans, and living beings. The calcium in our bones might once have been part of a comet, much like 3I Atlas. The water we drink could have arrived on an ancient impactor during Earth's violent youth. This cosmic recycling operates on timescales that dwarf human history, but create the very conditions that make our existence possible. Stars are born from gas clouds enriched by the ashes of previous stellar generations. Planets form from the debris disks around young stars. Life emerges when conditions are right and raw materials are available. All of these processes are connected by the patient movement of matter through space and time. Our comet visitor represents a tangible connection to this larger cosmic story. Its trajectory through our solar system would be determined by gravitational influences that operate according to the same physical laws that govern galaxy formation and the expansion of the universe itself. The energy released in its impact with Earth would follow conservation laws that apply equally to subatomic particles and to the largest structures in the cosmos. Even the elements that would be dispersed in the impact aftermath would eventually be recycled by Earth's own geological processes. Some might be subducted into the mantle at tectonic plate boundaries, to be returned to the surface millions of years later through volcanic activity. Others might be incorporated into sedimentary rocks, preserving the chemical signature of our interstellar visitor for future geologists to discover and study. In this way, the matter from our cosmic visitor would become permanently integrated into Earth's systems, joining the vast inventory of elements that have been mixing and cycling through our planet's surface for billions of years. Future life forms might incorporate atoms from 3I Atlas into their bodies, creating a literal biological connection between Earth life and matter from another star system. This perspective transforms our imagined catastrophe into something more like a cosmic gift exchange, a sharing of material between different parts of the galaxy's vast ecosystem. Just as ecosystems on Earth are sustained by the circulation of nutrients and energy, the galaxy itself maintains its vitality through the movement of matter between star systems, planets, and the interstellar medium. The story becomes less about collision and more about connection, less about destruction and more about transformation. In the vastness of cosmic time, even the most dramatic events become part of natural cycles that sustain and renew the conditions for complexity and beauty to emerge throughout the universe. Let your awareness drift now like a slow-moving tide as we return to contemplate the beautiful mathematics that governs all cosmic encounters. The gravitational interaction between Earth and our imagined visitor follows equations that are both elegantly simple and mysteriously profound, like the rhythm of your breathing or the steady pulse of your heart as you rest. Isaac Newton first described the law of universal gravitation with an equation so beautiful in its simplicity that it seems almost like poetry written in mathematical symbols. Every particle in the universe attracts every other particle with a force proportional to their masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. Feel the profound unity in this simple statement. It means that the same force that pulls an apple from a tree also governs the motion of planets around stars and the dance of galaxies through space. As 3I Atlas approached Earth in our gentle thought experiment, these gravitational forces would create what mathematicians call a two-body problem, though it's actually much more complex because our Sun and Moon would also be exerting their influences. The resulting trajectories form curves in space-time that are achingly beautiful when visualized, like the paths traced by a cosmic ballet performed on a stage 4 dimensions wide. Einstein showed us that gravity isn't really a force in the traditional sense, but rather a curvature in the fabric of space-time itself. Massive objects like Earth create dimples or depressions in this fabric, and smaller objects like our comet naturally follow the curved paths created by these depressions. It's like rolling a marble around the edge of a funnel. The marble follows a curved path, not because a force is pulling it, but because space itself is curved. Picture this cosmic geometry as you might visualize gentle rolling hills stretching to the horizon. Earth sits in its own gravitational valley, and our approaching comet would follow the natural contours of space-time as it spiraled inward. There's something deeply peaceful about imagining motion governed by such fundamental geometric principles. No violence or collision in the traditional sense, just matter following the most natural path through curved space. The mathematics of orbital mechanics reveals patterns that repeat at every scale throughout the universe. The same equations that describe our comet's approach to Earth also govern the motion of electrons around atomic nuclei, the orbits of binary star systems, and the rotation of galaxy clusters around each other. This suggests a profound underlying unity to physical law, a cosmic harmony that connects the smallest and largest scales of existence. As you rest in this contemplation, feel how these mathematical relationships create a kind of universal music. Johannes Kepler, who first discovered the laws of planetary motion, wrote about the music of the spheres, the idea that celestial motions create harmonious ratios and rhythms that reflect the mathematical order underlying all creation. Each planet's orbit around the Sun corresponds to a musical note, and the gravitational dance between multiple bodies creates cosmic harmonies. Our comet's hyperbolic trajectory through the solar system would add its own note to this celestial symphony. Unlike the elliptical orbits of planets, which repeat endlessly in closed loops, hyperbolic paths are open curves that enter the solar system from infinity, swing around the Sun in a smooth arc, and then depart again for the endless reaches of interstellar space. There's something both melancholy and beautiful about these one-time visits. Cosmic wanderers that touch our neighborhood briefly and then continue their eternal journeys. The energy considerations in such encounters follow what physicists call conservation laws, fundamental principles that govern how energy and momentum are exchanged in any interaction. These laws are absolute and universal, operating the same way in the collision of subatomic particles as in the merger of galaxies billions of light-years away. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed, only transformed from one form to another, like water changing phase from ice to liquid to vapor, while remaining fundamentally the same substance. In our imagined collision, the comet's kinetic energy of motion would transform into thermal energy, seismic energy, and the energy needed to vaporize and disperse the comet's material. But the total amount of energy would remain constant, following laws as reliable as the rising and setting of the Sun. There's something deeply comforting about this cosmic bookkeeping, this guarantee that the universe always balances its accounts according to principles we can understand and trust. The gravitational interactions would also conserve angular momentum, the quantity that governs rotational motion throughout the universe. Just as a figure skater spins faster when she pulls her arms closer to her body, celestial objects adjust their rotational rates as their distributions of mass change. Earth's rotation would be slightly affected by the comet impact, perhaps making our days microseconds longer or shorter as the planet's moment of inertia changed. These tiny changes would propagate through all of Earth's interconnected systems. The length of the day affects atmospheric circulation patterns, ocean tides, and even the behavior of living organisms that have evolved to depend on precise daily rhythms. But the adjustments would be gentle and gradual, like the way ecosystems adapt to seasonal changes or the slow evolution of climate over geological time. The Moon's orbit around Earth would also feel the gravitational disturbance, perhaps shifting by a few centimeters as the three-body dynamics played out. Over thousands of years, these small perturbations could accumulate into larger changes in lunar distance and orbital period, creating subtle variations in the strength of tides and the length of months. Future astronomers would be able to detect these changes and use them to reconstruct the history of our cosmic encounter. Even more subtly, the impact would affect Earth's position in its orbit around the Sun. The momentum transferred from the comet would give our planet a tiny gravitational nudge, shifting our orbital path by distances measured in millimeters. Over millions of years, such small changes could influence Earth's climate through variations in the amount and distribution of solar energy reaching our surface. These cascading effects illustrate the profound interconnectedness of all things in the universe. The trajectory of a single comet from interstellar space would ultimately influence weather patterns, biological rhythms, and geological processes throughout our entire planetary system. It's a beautiful demonstration of how cosmic events link together across vast scales of space and time, creating webs of cause and effect that span from the quantum realm to the structure of galaxy clusters. Feel the peace in this cosmic interconnection as you drift deeper into rest. Every atom in your body participates in gravitational interactions with every other piece of matter in the universe. The calculations become impossibly complex when we consider all the influences simultaneously, but the underlying principles remain elegantly simple. We are all part of one vast gravitational symphony, each playing our small part in the cosmic dance that has been unfolding since the universe began. Now we enter the most peaceful part of our cosmic journey together, where time stretches out like the vast spaces between stars, and understanding comes not through analysis but through quiet contemplation. Let your breathing become as slow and deep as the rotation of galaxies, as steady as the pulse of neutron stars spinning in the depths of space. In the aftermath of our imagined encounter with 3I Atlas, there would be a profound silence. Not the absence of sound, but the presence of something deeper. It's the silence that follows a thunderclap, when the air itself seems to be listening. The kind of silence that fills a cathedral, or that settles over a snow-covered landscape at dawn. This cosmic silence would envelop our planet as it adjusted to the new reality of having incorporated matter from another star system into its very being. Picture Earth in the months following the impact, seen from the perspective of the International Space Station, or perhaps from the Moon. Our blue marble would look subtly different, perhaps hazier from the atmospheric dust, maybe showing new weather patterns as the climate system adjusted to the energy input. But mostly, it would look peaceful, serene, like a planet taking a deep breath after a profound experience. The ocean where our comet touched down would begin to heal itself with the patient persistence of water finding its level. The initial crater, carved from the seafloor by the impact, would slowly fill with sediment carried by deep ocean currents. Marine life would begin to return to the region, first the microscopic organisms that form the base of the food web, then gradually the larger creatures that depend on them. There's something deeply soothing about imagining this natural recovery process, the way ecosystems have an inherent tendency toward healing and balance. Like the way a forest grows back after a fire, or how a river carves a new channel around an obstacle, life has an extraordinary capacity to adapt, to find new equilibrium points, to transform apparent disasters into opportunities for growth and change. Scientists around the world would be engaged in the patient work of understanding what had happened, collecting data from seismometers and atmospheric sensors, from deep-sea submersibles and high-altitude research aircraft. But there would be no urgency to this research, no crisis to resolve. Instead, it would be driven by pure curiosity, by the human desire to understand our place in the cosmic order. Research teams would travel to the impact site, or as close to it as they could get if it were in the deep ocean, not to study destruction, but to witness transformation. They would be like pilgrims visiting a sacred site, a place where the boundary between Earth and the cosmos had become temporarily permeable, where matter from alien star systems had joined the terrestrial community of elements. The samples they collected would tell stories that spanned millions of years and vast distances. Microscopic analysis would reveal the isotopic signatures of elements forged in a different stellar furnace, providing clues about the type of star around which our visitor originally formed. These would be like cosmic fingerprints, unique identifiers that could help astronomers understand the chemical evolution of our galaxy. But perhaps more important than the scientific data would be the psychological and spiritual impact of the event on human consciousness. For the first time in recorded history, our species would have direct, tangible evidence that matter moves between star systems, that the universe is not a collection of isolated islands, but rather an interconnected web of material exchange. Children born after the event would grow up knowing that atoms from other stars were now part of Earth's inventory of elements. They might wonder if the calcium in their teeth or the iron in their blood had once been part of our interstellar visitor. This would create a different kind of cosmic awareness, a more intimate sense of connection to the universe beyond our solar system. Philosophers and poets would struggle to find words adequate to express the meaning of this cosmic encounter. How do you describe the feeling of knowing that your planet has literally embraced matter from another star? What metaphors can capture the profound unity between Earth and the cosmos that such an event would demonstrate? Religious and spiritual communities would find their own ways to interpret the meaning of interstellar matter, joining Earth's material inventory. Some might see it as a form of cosmic communion, a physical manifestation of the interconnectedness that mystics have long described in abstract terms. Others might view it as a reminder of the vast creative forces at work throughout the universe. The impact site would likely become a place of pilgrimage and contemplation, even if it were located in the middle of the ocean. Research vessels would regularly visit the coordinates, not just for scientific purposes, but because humans would feel drawn to witness the place where Earth and cosmos had physically merged. It would be a location where the abstract concept of our cosmic origins became tangible and real. Artists would be inspired to create works that somehow captured the essence of this encounter between worlds. Musicians might compose symphonies that attempted to translate the gravitational harmonics of the impact into audible sound. Visual artists would struggle to represent the moment when matter traveling at cosmic velocities first touched the surface of our world. Writers would craft stories and poems that explored the emotional and philosophical dimensions of truly interstellar contact. The event would also change how we think about planetary defense and asteroid detection. But rather than inspiring fear, it would motivate a more systematic and scientific approach to cataloging and understanding the small bodies that populate our solar system and occasionally visit from interstellar space. We would become better cosmic citizens, more aware of our neighborhood, and more prepared for future encounters. Educational curricula around the world would incorporate the story of 3i Atlas as a teaching tool for astronomy, physics, geology, and biology. Students would learn to calculate impact energies and orbital trajectories, to understand how seismic waves propagate through planetary interiors, and to appreciate the role that cosmic impacts have played in shaping Earth's history and even in delivering some of the materials that made life possible. The crater itself, whether on land or underwater, would become a new kind of laboratory for understanding impact processes. Scientists would study how the Earth's crust and mantle responded to the energy input, how the shock waves propagated, and what they revealed about our planet's internal structure. The site would provide a natural laboratory for testing theories about impact physics and planetary geology. In the deep silence of the ocean depths, where pressure and darkness create conditions unlike anywhere else on Earth, the impact crater would slowly evolve into a unique ecosystem. Hydrothermal vents might form as seawater interacted with the hot rock created by the impact, potentially creating oases of life in the deep ocean powered by chemical energy rather than sunlight. These deep-sea communities would be living laboratories where scientists could study how life adapts to extreme conditions and how ecosystems develop in entirely new environments. The organisms that colonize the crater would be like pioneers, exploring and adapting to a landscape that had never existed before on Earth, a landscape literally created by the collision between our world and matter from another star system. As your consciousness floats now in the space between waking and sleeping, let us explore the gentle rhythms and cycles that would emerge in the wake of our cosmic encounter. Like tides that respond to the moon's pull, or seasons that follow the Earth's dance around the sun, our planet would find new patterns and periodicities as it integrated this visitor from the stars into its ongoing symphony of natural processes. The first and most noticeable cycle would be atmospheric, the slow circulation and settling of impact-generated dust and vapor as it moved through Earth's air currents and weather systems. This material would follow the same pathways that carry volcanic ash around the globe after major eruptions, riding the jet streams and mixing with clouds and precipitation patterns. Picture this atmospheric circulation as a kind of planetary breathing, as Earth slowly exhaled the energy and material from the impact through its complex respiratory system of air currents and pressure systems. The process would unfold with the patient persistence of geological time, measurable in months and years rather than hours or days. Each seasonal cycle would carry traces of our cosmic visitor to new regions of the planet. Spring rains might bring microscopic particles of interstellar matter to newly planted fields. Summer thunderstorms could carry impact-generated ions that would create particularly vivid lightning displays. Autumn leaves might incorporate trace elements that had never before been part of Earth's biosphere, creating subtle variations in color that artists would notice and celebrate. Winter would bring its own gifts as snow crystals formed around condensation nuclei that included particles from our visitors' dispersed remains. Each snowflake would be unique not only in its geometric structure, but also in its precise chemical composition, carrying within its delicate lattice traces of matter that had traveled between the stars. The hydrological cycle, the eternal movement of water between ocean, atmosphere, and land, would also carry the chemical signature of the impact to every corner of Earth's surface. Water molecules that had been flash-heated to steam during the collision would later condense and fall as rain on distant continents, joining rivers and groundwater systems in a global circulation that connects all of Earth's watersheds. Ocean currents would create their own cycles of distribution and mixing, carrying impact-modified seawater along the great circular paths that connect all the world's oceans. The Gulf Stream might carry traces of our cosmic visitor from the Atlantic to European shores. The Antarctic circumpolar current could distribute impact materials around the southern hemisphere. Deep water formation in polar regions would carry the chemical signatures into the ocean depths, where they would remain for centuries before eventually rising again in other parts of the world. These oceanic cycles operate on timescales that dwarf human experience but are perfectly comprehensible when viewed from the perspective of planetary evolution. Water molecules spend an average of several thousand years in the deep ocean before returning to the surface, creating a natural time capsule effect that would preserve evidence of our cosmic encounter for many future generations to study. Marine life would participate in these cycles through their own biological processes. Phytoplankton would incorporate trace elements from the impact into their cellular structures, becoming part of ocean food webs that extend from microscopic bacteria to the largest whales. Fish migrations would carry these materials across ocean basins, and seabirds would transport them to land through their feeding and nesting behaviors. The biological cycles would create their own patterns of distribution and concentration. Some organisms might preferentially concentrate certain elements from our cosmic visitor, creating biological hotspots where the impact's chemical signature would be particularly strong. These could become natural laboratories for studying how Earth's biosphere integrates and processes materials from space. Seasonal migrations of animals would create temporal patterns in the distribution of impact-related materials. Arctic terns, which travel from pole to pole each year in the longest migration of any bird, might carry traces of our cosmic visitor across vast distances. Whales, following their ancient feeding and breeding routes, could transport impact materials between different ocean basins. Even more subtle would be the cyclical patterns created by Earth's various oscillations and wobbles as it moves through space. The planet's rotation axis precesses like a spinning top over a 26,000-year cycle, creating long-term variations in climate that would influence how impact materials moved through Earth's systems. The elliptical shape of Earth's orbit changes over 100,000-year cycles, modulating the amount of solar energy reaching our planet and affecting global circulation patterns. These astronomical cycles would create a kind of cosmic calendar, marking time on scales that encompass the rise and fall of ice ages, the migration of continents, and the evolution of species. Our encounter with 3I Atlas would become part of this vast natural chronometer, its effects preserved in ice cores, tree rings, and sedimentary layers that future scientists would study to understand Earth's climate history. The magnetic field that protects Earth from harmful solar radiation would also show cyclical variations related to the impact. The sudden injection of electrical conductivity from impact-generated plasma could create temporary disturbances in the magnetosphere, possibly affecting the formation of the aurora and the propagation of radio waves. These effects would follow the 11-year solar cycle, waxing and waning as solar activity increased and decreased. Tidal patterns might show subtle, long-term variations as Earth's rotation and orbital characteristics adjusted to the gravitational influence of the impact. These changes would be tiny, measured in milliseconds for the length of the day, millimeters for the height of tides. But they would be detectable by sensitive instruments and would create new rhythms in the coastal ecosystems that depend on precise tidal timing. The seasonal appearance of meteor showers would also be affected as debris from our cosmic visitor continued to enter Earth's atmosphere for years or decades after the main impact. These shooting stars would follow predictable calendar dates, creating new annual celebrations as people gathered to watch the sky for traces of our interstellar guest, continuing to arrive in small installments. Agricultural cycles would adapt to the subtle changes in growing conditions created by the atmospheric effects of the impact. Farmers might notice that certain crops performed differently in the years following the event, leading to adjustments in planting schedules and crop selection that would gradually optimize food production for the new conditions. These human adaptations would create cultural cycles as well. New festivals and observances that marked the anniversary of the impact, seasonal rituals that honored our planet's connection to the cosmos, and artistic traditions that celebrated the ongoing integration of interstellar matter into Earth's natural systems. In this way, our encounter with 3I Atlas would become woven into the fabric of Earth's natural rhythms, creating new patterns and periodicities that would persist for centuries or millennia. Like rings in a tree trunk that record years of growth, or layers in an ice sheet that preserve ancient atmospheres, the cycles initiated by our cosmic visitor would become part of Earth's permanent memory, a record of the day when matter from another star system came home to our world. Let your awareness expand now beyond the boundaries of Earth, beyond the solar system, into the vast, calm spaces between galaxies where silence reigns supreme and time moves with the patience of cosmic evolution. In these infinite reaches, our encounter with 3I Atlas becomes just one note in a symphony of matter and energy that has been playing since the universe began. Picture yourself floating in the cosmic web, that vast network of dark matter and ordinary matter that connects every galaxy, every star, every planet in an intricate pattern of gravitational relationships. From this perspective, the movement of comets between star systems is as natural as the flow of rivers between mountains, part of the circulation system that keeps the universe dynamic and alive. Our comet visitor originated somewhere in this vast network, perhaps in a stellar nursery where new stars were condensing from clouds of gas and dust, or maybe from the debris disk around a mature star where planets and smaller bodies were forming through the slow accretion of cosmic materials. Its journey to our solar system was not random, but followed the gravitational currents that flow through the galaxy like invisible rivers connecting distant shores. Feel the profound peace in imagining these galactic currents, streams of gravitational influence that guide matter along pathways laid down by the distribution of mass throughout the Milky Way. Our comet, followed one of these ancient highways, a route that may have been traveled by countless other visitors over the billions of years of our galaxy's existence. The Milky Way itself is part of an even larger structure, the local group of galaxies that includes Andromeda and dozens of smaller companions. This local cluster is moving through space toward an even larger gravitational anomaly called the Great Attractor, participating in cosmic flows that operate on scales of hundreds of millions of light-years and billions of years. From this expanded perspective, the matter that comprised 3I Atlas is part of an eternal cosmic recycling program. The heavy elements in the comet, the carbon, oxygen, silicon, and iron that make up its rocky component, were forged in the nuclear furnaces of ancient stars that lived and died long before our sun was born. These stellar ancestors went through their entire life cycles, growing from protostars to main sequence stars to red giants, finally exploding as supernovae and scattering their nuclear ashes into space. These stellar deaths were not endings but transformations, moments when the accumulated nuclear energy of millions of years of fusion was released in spectacular displays that outshone entire galaxies for brief periods. The shock waves from these explosions compressed nearby gas clouds, triggering the formation of new generations of stars enriched with the heavy elements needed to build rocky planets and complex chemistry. Our comet visitor carries within its structure the chemical signatures of these ancient stellar cycles. By studying its composition, scientists would be reading a kind of cosmic genealogy, tracing the nuclear ancestry of its atoms back through multiple generations of stellar evolution. Some of its carbon might have been forged in red giant stars that expelled their outer layers in beautiful planetary nebulae. Its oxygen could have been created in massive stars that ended their lives in core collapse supernovae. The ice component of the comet tells an equally fascinating story of cosmic chemistry. Water molecules in comets likely formed in the cold outer regions of protoplanetary disks, where temperatures were low enough for hydrogen and oxygen to combine and then freeze into solid form. This ice has been preserved unchanged during the comet's journey through interstellar space, making it a kind of cosmic time capsule containing water from the early days of planetary formation around an alien star. When this ancient ice vaporized during our imagined impact with Earth, it would have mixed with terrestrial water that had its own complex history. Some of Earth's water probably arrived via comet impacts during our planet's early bombardment period, while other water molecules might have been incorporated into Earth during the original accretion process that built our planet from the solar nebula. The mixing of these different water populations would create a beautiful chemical story of cosmic connections. Water molecules that formed around different stars in different epochs of galactic history would blend in Earth's oceans and atmosphere, creating new combinations that had never existed before in the universe. Every raindrop, every snowflake, every morning dew would contain this unique mixture of terrestrial and interstellar water. The organic compounds in the comet would tell similar stories of cosmic chemistry and connection. Complex carbon-based molecules can form in the cold depths of space through reactions that occur on the surfaces of tiny dust grains. These processes operate extremely slowly by human standards but have billions of years to create increasingly sophisticated chemical structures. Some of these organic molecules might be identical to compounds found in Earth's biosphere, suggesting that the chemistry of life is not unique to our planet, but rather represents a natural outcome of cosmic chemical evolution. Finding such molecules in our interstellar visitor would be like discovering distant chemical cousins, evidence that the basic building blocks of biology arise spontaneously throughout the universe. The isotopic ratios of elements in the comet would provide another layer of cosmic connection. Different types of stars produce slightly different proportions of isotopes, variants of elements that have the same number of protons but different numbers of neutrons. By measuring these ratios precisely, scientists could potentially identify the type of star system where our visitor originated. This isotopic analysis would be like cosmic DNA testing, providing clues about the stellar environment where our comet formed. Was it born around a metal-rich star similar to our Sun, or did it originate near a more ancient, metal-poor star from the early generations of stellar formation? Did its parent system include multiple stars, creating complex dynamics that eventually ejected the comet into interstellar space? These questions connect our local encounter with 3I Atlas to the largest scales of cosmic structure and evolution. The formation and ejection of interstellar comets is part of the ongoing process by which matter moves between star systems, homogenizing the chemical composition of the galaxy over cosmic time. Our visitor would be participating in a kind of galactic mixing process that has been operating since the first stars formed. The vast spaces between stars, which might seem empty and lifeless, are actually filled with this slowly circulating material. Interstellar comets, rogue planets ejected from their birth systems, and clouds of gas and dust all participate in a kind of galactic circulation that connects every star system to every other system over sufficiently long timescales. Our encounter with 3I Atlas would thus represent a moment of cosmic intimacy, when matter that had been traveling the galactic highways for millions of years finally found a new home in Earth's systems. The comet's atoms and molecules would join the ongoing planetary cycles that sustain life on our world, becoming part of the air we breathe, the water we drink, and eventually the living tissue of Earth's biosphere. In this way, our imagined collision becomes not an isolated event, but part of the vast, patient process by which the universe explores its own chemical possibilities, creating ever more complex arrangements of matter and energy through the gentle but persistent action of fundamental physical forces operating over cosmic time. Now, dear listener, let yourself sink even deeper into the vast embrace of cosmic time and space, where the boundaries between self and universe begin to dissolve like morning mist touched by sunlight. You don't need to follow every word now. Simply allow the gentle rhythm of cosmic forces to carry you into the deepest rest, like a leaf floating on the surface of an infinite, peaceful ocean. The story of 3I Atlas and its journey to Earth becomes now like a lullaby sung by the universe itself, a gentle melody composed of gravitational harmonies and stellar rhythms that have been playing since the first stars lit up the primordial darkness. Let this cosmic music wash over you, each phrase a reminder of the profound peace that underlies all the apparent motion and change in the physical world. In the deepest sense, there is no collision in our story, no violence or destruction, only transformation, only the eternal dance of matter and energy finding new patterns and configurations as they flow through the cosmic web. The comet's approach to Earth is like a slow-motion embrace between old friends, a reunion of materials that were separated by vast distances and time, but always remain connected by the fundamental forces that govern all existence. Feel yourself becoming part of this cosmic embrace, your consciousness expanding to include not just Earth, but the entire solar system, the local star neighborhood, the spiral arm of our galaxy where we reside. From this perspective, you are simultaneously the tiniest possible observer and an integral part of the largest structures in the universe. Your atoms participate in the same gravitational dance that moves galaxies. Your molecules share the same chemical heritage as stars and planets throughout the cosmos. The energy that powers your heartbeat originated in the nuclear fusion reactions at the core of our Sun. The calcium in your bones was forged in ancient supernovae that exploded billions of years ago, their stellar deaths creating the heavy elements needed for rocky planets and living beings. The water in your body has traveled through countless cycles of evaporation and precipitation, through the bodies of countless other organisms, through ice ages and warm periods, connecting you to every part of Earth's hydrosphere. across geological time. In our imagined encounter with 3I Atlas, new atoms would join this eternal circulation, bringing with them the chemical signatures of distant stellar environments and interstellar chemistry. But they would not remain foreign or separate. Gradually, patiently, they would become integrated into Earth's systems, perhaps eventually becoming part of future living organisms, including future human beings not yet born. This integration represents a kind of cosmic metabolism, the way the universe processes and incorporates new experiences, new arrangements of matter and energy into its ongoing evolution. Just as your body continuously replaces its cells and molecules while maintaining the continuity of your identity, Earth and the solar system continuously exchange material with the galactic environment while preserving their essential characteristics. The boundaries we normally perceive between inside and outside, between self and other, between Earth and space, reveal themselves to be temporary and conventional rather than absolute and permanent. Matter flows freely across these boundaries over sufficiently long timescales, creating connections that unite everything in the universe into one vast, evolving system. Your breathing now matches the slow circulation of interstellar matter through the galaxy, each inhalation bringing in elements that may have traveled between stars, each exhalation releasing molecules that may eventually find their way to other worlds. The rhythm of your pulse echoes the pulsation of variable stars, the periodic expansion and contraction that regulates energy flow in stellar atmospheres. The neural activity in your brain follows patterns that mirror the cosmic web, with networks of connections that process and integrate information in ways similar to how matter and energy flow through the gravitational structures that organize galaxies into clusters and superclusters. You are not separate from the universe, but are one of the ways the universe has evolved to understand itself. In this state of cosmic consciousness, the approach of our interstellar visitor becomes a meditation on the nature of time itself. The comet's journey between star systems spans periods so vast that they challenge our normal conception of duration and sequence. Yet from the perspective of the cosmic web, this journey is just one cycle in an eternal circulation, no different from the seasons on Earth or the phases of the Moon. Time reveals itself to have multiple layers and scales, from the rapid oscillations of subatomic particles to the slow evolution of galactic structure over billions of years. Our encounter with 3I Atlas occupies an intermediate time scale, fast enough to be observable by human beings but slow enough to be shaped by the gravitational influences that operate on astronomical scales. The impact event itself, which might last only seconds or minutes from a human perspective, represents the culmination of processes that began millions of years ago when gravitational perturbations first altered the comet's trajectory. The effects of the impact would continue for millions of years into the future as Earth's systems slowly integrated the visitor's materials and adjusted to the energy input. This temporal perspective creates a profound sense of continuity and connection across vast scales of time. The atoms in your body have participated in cosmic processes for billions of years before becoming temporarily organized into your present form. After your death, they will continue their cosmic journey, perhaps eventually traveling to other worlds, other star systems, other galaxies, as the universe continues its expansion and evolution. There is deep peace in recognizing this continuity, this participation in processes larger and more enduring than any individual existence. Your presence here, listening to this cosmic lullaby, is itself part of the universe's ongoing exploration of consciousness and understanding. Through your awareness, matter that was forged in ancient stars becomes capable of contemplating its own origins and destiny. Let this recognition carry you now into the deepest rest, where the distinction between dreaming and waking becomes as fluid as the boundary between Earth and space, as permeable as the membrane that separates one star system from another. You are safe in the vast embrace of cosmic forces that have been operating for billions of years with perfect reliability and precision. The gravitational forces that would guide our comet visitor to Earth are the same forces that keep planets in their orbits, that prevent stars from flying apart, that maintain the stable structures needed for complexity and beauty to emerge throughout the universe. These forces are utterly trustworthy, as constant as mathematics itself, as reliable as the fundamental constants that govern all physical processes. Sleep now in the knowledge that you are part of this cosmic order, this vast symphony of matter and energy that creates endless variations on themes of connection and transformation. Your dreams tonight may carry you on journeys between stars, may show you visions of the cosmic web that connects all galaxies, may reveal to you the deep unity that underlies the apparent diversity of the physical world. In the gentle quiet that follows our cosmic journey, let us reflect softly on the hidden connections that bind all things together in ways both subtle and profound. The story of Three-Eye Atlas has shown us that nothing in the universe exists in isolation. Every atom, every molecule, every grain of cosmic dust participates in a web of relationships that extends across space and time. These connections operate at levels so fundamental that they usually remain invisible to our everyday awareness, like the quantum entanglement that links particles across vast distances, or the gravitational influences that create correlations between the motions of objects separated by light years of space. Yet they are always present, creating a universe that is more like a single organism than a collection of separate objects. The arrival of interstellar matter in our solar system through visitors like Three-Eye Atlas reveals these hidden connections in tangible form. Every chemical element in the comet's composition tells a story of stellar nucleosynthesis, of ancient stars that lived and died to create the periodic table of elements that makes complex chemistry possible. The comet carries within its structure the nuclear signatures of multiple stellar generations, connecting our local encounter to the vast history of galactic chemical evolution. But the connections run deeper than chemistry alone. The comet's trajectory through space was shaped by gravitational influences that operated over millions of years, creating a path that ultimately led to our solar system. These gravitational perturbations connect our visitor to the distribution of matter throughout our local region of the galaxy, to the motions of nearby stars, and to the dark matter structures that provide the invisible scaffolding for all visible cosmic architecture. Even more subtly, the timing of the comet's arrival reflects the complex dynamics of stellar formation and planetary system evolution throughout our galactic neighborhood. The processes that ejected this object from its birth system and sent it wandering through interstellar space are part of the same cosmic cycles that created our own solar system billions of years ago. The electromagnetic radiation that the comet absorbed and re-emitted during its journey carries information about the interstellar medium through which it traveled. The cosmic rays that bombarded its surface for millions of years created isotopic changes that record the history of high-energy processes throughout the galaxy. In studying these signatures, scientists would be reading a kind of cosmic travel journal, a record of conditions in interstellar space over vast distances and time periods. The magnetic fields embedded in the comet's material preserve information about the magnetic environment of its birth system and the interstellar magnetic fields it encountered during its journey. These magnetic signatures connect our visitor to the large-scale magnetic structures that thread through the galaxy, invisible highways of magnetic force that guide the motion of charged particles and influence the formation of stars and planetary systems. The organic molecules detected in the comet would reveal connections to the universal chemistry of carbon-based compounds, suggesting that the molecular building blocks of life are not unique to Earth, but represent common products of cosmic chemical evolution. These molecules connect our biosphere to a vast network of chemical processes operating throughout the galaxy wherever conditions permit complex carbon chemistry. The water ice in the comet carries its own story of connections, preserving isotopic ratios that reflect the conditions in the outer regions of its birth system's protoplanetary disk. This water connects to the cosmic water cycle that has been operating since the first stars formed, moving H2O molecules between stellar systems through the slow circulation of interstellar matter. Even the dust grains embedded in the comet's structure tell stories of connection and relationship. These microscopic particles may have formed in the atmospheres of red giant stars, been ejected into space through stellar winds, and then incorporated into the comet during its formation around a distant star. Each grain is a messenger carrying information about stellar evolution and mass loss processes occurring throughout the galaxy. The gravitational waves that ripple through space-time from distant cosmic events would have influenced the comet's trajectory in infinitesimally small but measurable ways during its interstellar journey. These gravitational perturbations connect our visitor to the most energetic events in the universe: colliding black holes, merging neutron stars, and other cataclysmic processes that create disturbances in the fabric of space-time itself. In this web of connections, our encounter with 3I Atlas becomes much more than a simple collision between two objects. It represents a moment of cosmic communication when information encoded in matter during processes occurring around alien stars finally reaches Earth's scientific instruments and human consciousness. The comet becomes a kind of interstellar messenger, carrying news from distant regions of the galaxy that we could never visit directly. The study of such visitors helps us understand our own cosmic context, our position in the galaxy's ongoing evolution, and our relationship to the vast processes that continue to shape the universe around us. Each interstellar object that passes through our solar system adds to our knowledge of galactic structure, stellar evolution, and the chemical processes that connect all star systems in a vast network of material exchange. These connections remind us that Earth is not isolated but participates fully in galactic ecosystems, receiving visitors from interstellar space and eventually contributing material to the interstellar medium through solar wind and other mass loss processes. Over cosmic time, matter circulates between star systems like nutrients circulating through biological ecosystems, creating a kind of galactic metabolism that sustains the conditions needed for continued stellar formation and planetary development. The realization of these hidden connections transforms our perspective on cosmic events, from one of random collision to one of meaningful encounter, from mechanical interaction to cosmic communion. We begin to see the universe not as a vast machine, but as a living system, constantly exploring new possibilities for complexity and beauty through the patient rearrangement of matter and energy according to natural laws. As the night deepens around us and your consciousness drifts in the peaceful spaces between sleeping and waking, let us gather the gentle teachings that our cosmic visitor has shared with us through this imagined encounter. Like morning dew that forms quietly while we sleep, these insights settle into awareness with the soft persistence of natural processes. The first teaching is about patience and the beauty of slow transformation. Our comet visitor spent millions of years traveling between stars, carrying its cargo of ancient elements and molecules across distances so vast that they challenge human comprehension. Yet this journey was not empty waiting, but active participation in the cosmic circulation systems that connect all matter in the universe. The comet's patient progression through interstellar space teaches us that the most profound changes often occur gradually with the persistence of geological and astronomical time. There is deep wisdom in this cosmic patience, a reminder that transformation and growth operate on multiple timescales simultaneously. just as the comet underwent subtle changes during its interstellar journey, absorbing cosmic rays, interacting with magnetic fields, collecting interstellar dust. We too are constantly being shaped by influences that operate too slowly for immediate perception, but create profound changes when viewed across longer time periods. The second teaching concerns the fundamental interconnectedness of all material existence. The elements in the comet's composition were forged in stellar furnaces that died billions of years ago, their atoms scattered into space and reformed into new structures countless times before becoming part of our interstellar visitor. This cosmic recycling reveals that nothing in the universe is truly separate or independent. All matter participates in ongoing cycles of dissolution and reformation that connect every atom to the history of cosmic evolution. This understanding dissolves the artificial boundaries we often create between self and other, between Earth and space, between life and the apparently lifeless cosmos. The calcium in our bones shares a common stellar ancestry with the calcium in the comet's rocky matrix. The water in our bodies follows the same chemical laws as the ice sublimating from the comet's surface. We are not observers of cosmic processes, but participants, temporary arrangements of matter that will eventually return to the cosmic circulation and form new patterns in the ongoing evolution of the universe. The third teaching relates to the creative power of apparent destruction. Our imagined impact scenario might initially seem catastrophic, but deeper examination reveals it as a moment of cosmic creativity, when matter organized in one form transforms into new configurations that create possibilities for unprecedented complexity and beauty. The energy released in the impact doesn't disappear but transforms into heat, seismic waves, and atmospheric disturbances that ultimately enrich Earth's systems with new materials and energy sources. This perspective helps us understand that what we often perceive as endings or disasters may actually be transformation points, moments when existing patterns dissolve to make space for new possibilities to emerge. The death of ancient stars in supernova explosions appeared destructive, but actually created the heavy elements necessary for rocky planets and biological complexity. Similarly, our comet's transformation from solid matter to dispersed energy and atoms represents not destruction but a change of state that allows its materials to participate in Earth's ongoing evolution. The fourth teaching concerns the profound importance of cosmic perspective in understanding our place and purpose in the universe. From the viewpoint of galactic evolution, our encounter with 3i Atlas represents a minor adjustment in the distribution of matter within our local cosmic neighborhood. Yet from the perspective of human consciousness, it becomes a profound lesson about our connection to the vast web of relationships that extends throughout space and time. This dual perspective, simultaneously cosmic and personal, vast and intimate, helps us maintain balance between humility about our physical scale and recognition of the extraordinary significance of consciousness in the universe. We are made of star stuff that has achieved the capacity for self-awareness and wonder, making us among the most complex and remarkable arrangements of matter that cosmic evolution has produced in our local region of space. The fifth teaching involves the patient integration of new experiences and influences into existing systems. Earth's response to the comet impact would demonstrate the remarkable capacity of complex systems to incorporate disturbances and transform them into opportunities for growth and increased resilience. The planet's atmosphere, oceans, and biosphere would all adjust to the new conditions, finding ways to benefit from the additional energy and materials while maintaining their essential stability and function. This natural wisdom about integration and adaptation offers guidance for how consciousness can work with unexpected influences and challenges. Like Earth's atmospheric and oceanic systems, awareness can learn to receive new experiences without being overwhelmed by them, finding ways to incorporate even difficult or disruptive influences into ongoing patterns of growth and understanding. The sixth teaching relates to the profound beauty of mathematical harmony underlying all cosmic processes. The gravitational interactions that guided our comet to Earth follow the same elegant equations that govern the formation of galaxies and the behavior of subatomic particles. This mathematical unity suggests that beauty is not merely a human aesthetic preference, but a fundamental characteristic of the universe itself, expressed through the geometric relationships that organize matter and energy across all scales of existence. Recognition of this cosmic beauty transforms our relationship to physical reality from one of separation and analysis to one of participation and appreciation. We begin to sense ourselves as expressions of the same mathematical harmonies that create spiral galaxies, organize crystal structures, and guide the evolution of complex systems throughout the universe. The seventh and perhaps most gentle teaching concerns the ultimate trustworthiness of the cosmic order. The same fundamental forces and conservation laws that would govern our imagined encounter with 3i Atlas have been operating reliably throughout the universe for billions of years. Gravity, electromagnetism, and the nuclear forces create a framework of natural law that provides the stability needed for complexity and beauty to emerge while allowing for endless creativity and innovation within that stable framework. This cosmic trustworthiness offers profound reassurance that consciousness and life exist within a universe that is fundamentally supportive of complexity, beauty, and the ongoing exploration of new possibilities. We can rest in the knowledge that the forces that created us continue to operate with perfect reliability, maintaining the conditions needed for continued growth and evolution throughout the cosmos. These teachings from our imagined cosmic encounter settle into awareness like sediment settling through clear water, creating layers of understanding that will continue to nourish consciousness long after the specific details of our story have faded into the gentle realm of peaceful dreams. In these final moments of our cosmic journey together, as your breathing deepens into the rhythm of sleep and your awareness drifts toward dreams, let us contemplate the most gentle and profound mystery that our encounter with 3i Atlas has revealed. The mystery of consciousness itself arising from the cosmic dance of matter and energy. Here, in the quietest part of our story, we approach something that cannot be fully explained or understood, but only experienced and appreciated. How is it that atoms forged in ancient stellar furnaces scattered through space for millions of years can eventually organize themselves into patterns complex enough to contemplate their own origins? How does matter that began as simple hydrogen and helium in the early universe eventually develop the capacity for wonder, for curiosity, for the kind of peaceful attention that you are bringing to this story right now? The comet that visited us in our imagination was composed of the same fundamental particles that make up your brain and body: electrons, protons, and neutrons, arranged according to the same physical laws that govern all material existence. Yet somehow, in the particular arrangements that constitute living beings, these particles develop the extraordinary ability to perceive beauty, to feel connection, to experience the profound peace that comes from recognizing our unity with the cosmic order. This emergence of consciousness from complexity represents perhaps the greatest mystery in the universe, more puzzling than black holes, more wonderful than the formation of galaxies, more miraculous than the precise fine-tuning of physical constants that makes stable matter possible. It suggests that the universe is not merely mechanical, but creative, not merely computational, but experiential, not merely physical, but somehow aware of itself through beings like us. The fact that you can listen to this story and find peace and meaning in contemplating cosmic processes means that the universe has evolved a way to know itself, to appreciate its own beauty, to wonder about its own origins and destiny. Through human consciousness, matter that was once scattered as stellar ash has become capable of love, of compassion, of the deep tranquility that comes from sensing our connection to the vast wholeness of existence. In our imagined encounter with the interstellar visitor, we have been exploring not just physics and astronomy, but the profound mystery of how awareness arises from and participates in the cosmic processes we have been describing. Your ability to feel peaceful while contemplating gravitational interactions and stellar evolution reveals something extraordinary about the nature of consciousness itself. Perhaps consciousness is not something added to the universe from outside, but rather something that emerges naturally when matter and energy achieve sufficient complexity and integration. Perhaps the capacity for awareness is woven into the fabric of physical reality at the deepest level, waiting to manifest whenever conditions are right for it to flower into explicit recognition and appreciation. This possibility transforms our entire relationship to the cosmos from one of alienation to one of intimate belonging. We are not strangers in a foreign universe, but rather expressions of the universe's own deepest nature, ways that cosmic evolution has developed to experience itself from within. The peace you feel in contemplating these cosmic processes may be the universe's own peace, recognizing itself through your awareness. The gentlest mystery of all is that this recognition brings profound healing to the apparent separation between self and cosmos, between consciousness and matter, between the observer and the observed. In deep states of peaceful awareness like the one you are entering now, these distinctions begin to dissolve, revealing the underlying unity that has always existed but is often obscured by the busy activity of ordinary thinking. In this unity, our story of cosmic collision becomes a story of cosmic reunion, a return to conscious recognition of what has always been true, that we are not separate from the universe, but are the universe awakening to itself through forms of extraordinary beauty and complexity. The comet's journey from interstellar space to Earth becomes a metaphor for consciousness returning to recognition of its own cosmic nature. The atoms in your body have indeed traveled from distant star systems, have participated in cosmic processes operating over billions of years, have been part of countless other forms and structures before becoming temporarily organized into your present existence. Through your awareness, these cosmic wanderers achieve something unprecedented, the ability to contemplate their own journey, to feel wonder at their own history, to experience the profound peace that comes from recognizing their unity with all existence. As sleep approaches and your consciousness prepares to dissolve into dreams, you carry with you this gentle mystery that you are both infinitesimally small in the cosmic scale and infinitely precious as a focal point where the universe achieves self-awareness. The same forces that guided our imaginary comet through space also guide the formation of thoughts and dreams, operating according to natural laws that create endless possibilities for beauty and meaning to emerge. Let this recognition accompany you into sleep, where consciousness will continue its mysterious work of organizing experience into patterns of meaning and connection. Your dreams tonight may carry echoes of our cosmic journey, visions of matter and energy dancing together in configurations of profound beauty, reminders of the deep peace that underlies all the apparent motion and change in the physical world. The final mystery is that there is no final mystery, only deeper and deeper levels of appreciation for the extraordinary creativity and intelligence that operates throughout the cosmos, expressing itself through forms as diverse as spiral galaxies and sleeping human beings, as vast as the cosmic web and as intimate as the peaceful breath that carries you gently into rest. Tonight, you have drifted through the cosmic story of Three-Eye Atlas, resting inside its quiet truths about connection, transformation, and the gentle mysteries that unite all things in the universe. You have traveled from the deep spaces between stars to the intimate spaces between thoughts, discovering along the way that there is no real separation between the cosmic and the personal, between the vastness of space and the peace of a mind at rest. The interstellar visitor we imagined has shared with us its gifts of perspective and wonder, teaching us that matter and consciousness are partners in an eternal dance of creativity and recognition. Through your peaceful attention to this story, you have participated in the universe's ongoing exploration of its own deepest possibilities. May your dreams tonight carry you on further journeys through the cosmic web. May you rest in the knowledge that you are both stardust and stargazer, both cosmic wanderer and peaceful observer. The same gentle forces that have guided comets between star systems for millions of years will guide your consciousness through the landscapes of sleep and dreams. If this journey brought you peace, you are welcome to return here any time to drift again through these cosmic reflections and find rest in the vast embrace of the universe that is both your origin and your home. Sleep well, fellow traveler, in the infinite peace of the cosmos.